Hello and welcome to tonight's show.
Every day I wake up and I'm thankful to be here for another day. If it wasn't for my mother birthing me and deciding to bring me in this world, it is one of the most very beautiful, outstanding establishments that a woman makes when she creates a child. It is the process, it is the love, it is the nurturing, it is the providing and caring and all the loving that comes with it. So today, this video is dedicated to the mothers of today. We thank you. So let's get into this topic on The Shit Show.
Artlist.io. Music licensing reimagined.
What's up, everybody? This is your host with the most, Bane Allen. And today, I want to give a shout out to all the mothers, all the beautiful, loving, caring mothers of the world that gave a lot of us indigenous Aboriginal men life. We appreciate everything that you do. We appreciate everything that you have done. You have made everything so much easier for us to become the men that we are today. We, as young and older men, we love our mothers. We care about our mothers. We will protect our mothers. We will die for our mothers. We will do anything that we can to protect our mothers and make our mothers happy, because she paved the way for us to be happy. You know, for my mother, she's a great woman. I love my mother. My mother is really my best friend in the whole wide world. When I still have a problem today, I could still always have a good conversation with my mother. And she would always be there for me and give me the best advice possible. Never told me nothing negative to do in reaction. Never told me to do nothing bad in any type of reaction. You know, we grew up in Pasadena, California. We stayed in apartment complexes. And, my mom was on the county. And she, would have us standing in the line, getting that government cheese and them hot dogs and all that other crap that came with so-called free food, which now I would consider poison when you really think about it now. But back then we was hungry, so we was really happy to get something or what we got, because we didn't have much. And my mother was a single mother, and she raised 4 kids by herself with no help from none of our fathers. But she did it. She didn't complain. She didn't make no excuses. She got up one day and she said, "Hey, I'm going to go to school." And she went to school. And I remember we used to talk to each other, me and my brothers and sisters, and we would talk and be like, "Yeah, let's not talk too loud because mama up there studying." And my mama would have these thick, like at least almost 10 inches worth of papers, and she was reading them and studying them and going through them and going through them and going through them, and she was quizzing herself, and she was doing everything possible to pass her exam. So finally she ended up passing her exam, and she ended up being a registered nurse. And from there, you know what I mean, she moved our family from Pasadena to another city. And she did all of that on her own. You know what I mean? She said, let me take my kids out of this bad environment, because she saw me getting into a whole bunch of mess. She saw my brother out there getting into much mess than I was getting into. And she didn't want nothing to happen to her kids. So she did what was best for our family, even though as a young man I resented it, because that was a place where I was born and raised, and I grew up around everybody, and everybody was my friend. You know what I mean? We wasn't enemies back then. We was all cool with each other back then. We all loved each other back then. But as I look at it now as an older man, I see exactly what my mother's vision was. She saw a vision for her children that she led by example of, if I can do it, I can instill the same mental mobility into my children. If you want something, get out there and go get it with no excuses. And that's what we learned from my mother. You know what I mean? I mean, at first it was uncomfortable living in a suburban neighborhood and all your neighbors are white, and maybe it's a couple of black couples on the block. But, you know, they was cool neighbors. They never complained. They never was racist. They were always nice. They were always polite. You know what I mean? And I was like real caught off guard off of that. And it was just like crazy. You know what I mean? That people really act like this. People really talk like that, because I'm used to the ghetto slang that I grew up throughout my whole life. You know what I mean? So to hear somebody talk to me properly in that type of manner and with respect, you know what I mean? That's something that it grows on you as a man. And it's like, you know, I would never have experienced nothing like that if it wasn't for my mother. You know what I mean? And she always had my back through thick and thin. You know, times I did mess up and went to jail and did time and did a lot of crazy things, you know what I mean, that I had no business doing, you know. And one thing I can say about my mother, when I'm wrong, she lets me know that I'm wrong. You know what I mean? It's not gonna be like, oh, it's okay, don't worry about it. No, she gives me the full breakdown of what I did wrong and how I should have did a situation. You know what I mean? And for us to have mothers that are great teachers, you know what I mean? We take so much of that stuff for granted, of the sacrifices that all of our mothers, men and women, have made for us. So it's like, it disturbs me sometimes when I see people argue and yell and cuss at their mama. Me and my mama had arguments too, but that was like my rebellious stages as a teenager. But you gotta look at the whole situation of the respect. You're sure some people don't respect their mothers because they on drugs. Some people don't respect their mothers, you know what I mean, because they've been abandoned. I get that, and I understand that. But I could never be the type of person to sympathize with that person's pain, because I don't know what that feels like, to be abandoned by a parent or have a parent that's on drugs. So it's a big difference for me, and I can really feel to a certain extent what those people are feeling, because everybody ain't gonna love their mama. Everybody ain't gonna love their daddy neither. You know what I mean? And when we are looking up to our mothers for guidance and understanding, a lot of times it is based on the mother, of how the mother, which is the leader, actually guides her children into the way of the world, how to maneuver in the way of the world. If you have a street mom, then 9 times out of 10, you're going to have street kids. And then the cycle is going to keep repeating itself over and over and over again. So for my mother, she took her kids that wanted to go with her outside of that cycle to turning herself from a street woman and having street kids to a strong-minded, hard-working businesswoman that instilled the same mentality into her kids. It can be done. It's just that some people choose as mothers not to do it. You know, everything is mental. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know, dealing with my mom, she used to just drill and drill and drill and drill and drill so many things into our heads. And as you got older, you understood now that, yeah, now I get it. Now I get it. Now I have kids. Now I get it. You know? And what rubbed off on me from her was the same thing that I was able to instill into my children. So, as a father, I'm happy that none of my kids are doing drugs. None of my kids are in jail. You know what I mean? None of my kids are having kids with different dudes. Not saying that that's bad, but, you know, I'm just saying. My 2 daughters, they have children and they've been with the fathers, which is good. So they have a family and they have a group, you know? And I feel that not only do they mother, which was a beautiful woman, may she rest in peace, instilled the good foundation inside of them. With my help, we turned to create a generation that was bad into something positive and something good. You know what I mean? Because we made the decision to not expose our children to the things that were going on out in the streets. You know what I mean? I think the only thing that they would see is, back then, we was probably arguing and fighting, but that's about as much as they ever saw. But they never was exposed to the things that I was exposed, or the things that she was exposed to coming up in the world. So it's good. It's good. It's all good. We thank all the mothers for doing a wonderful job. I want to thank every single mother. I want to thank the mothers of my children. You know what I'm saying? One is resting in peace, and I have children by 3 other women that are beautiful mothers, great mothers, understanding mothers, that are doing such a wonderful job as a mother for the children that they had for me. Thank you for being who you are as a parent. And I love you guys for that. You know what I'm saying? I love you guys for helping me be even a better father, and to help me make better decisions in my life when I know sometimes I'm slacking or I'm messing up or I'm not focused. It's cool when you can have children by women, which is like you can get along and you don't have to argue. My last kid's mother, yeah, we used to argue and fight all the time, but it came to the point of her maturity and growing as a woman to understand I'm going to be the man who I'm going to be. And that's just me. Once I'm set in my ways, I'm set in my ways. And now we have a cool friendship that is like really, really outstanding. You know what I mean? Because we were friends before we even had a child. And it's like we're back to that level to where we cool again and we friends and we like can really talk and have a good, decent conversation without conflict. That's one of the most beautiful things in the world. Because I don't want to go through my life hating the children's mothers that gave birth from my sperm. I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? And I said this in another video before. Like I tell men, you know, if you can fix it, fix it. You don't have to be in a relationship. If you guys are not going to be together, that's fine. But you can fix it. You know what I'm saying? Because that woman carried something 9 months for you. You know what I'm saying? She trusted you enough to have that child. She trusted you enough to lay down on that table for 12, 18, 19, 24 hours or whatever to have your child. So don't be an asshole. Don't be a dickhead. You know what I'm saying? Let your pride go. Wish her a happy Mother's Day. You know, ain't nothing wrong with it. But thank you, mothers. I appreciate it. And I hope you guys like my story. This is your host with the most, Bane Allen. And I'm out of here. Peace.